Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season 3 premiere of The Council. Woo! I am your host today, Antony, and I'm so happy to welcome all of the wonderful panel members for this episode, including 2 new members of the council. I'll go to them first. Please welcome for the very first time, Mr. Jack.
Hello.
And the wonderful Constance.
Hello.
We're so happy to have them join us. We're sure they're going to have a lot of fun and bring a lot of new opinions to our group. Our returning favorites, please welcome Yousef.
Hello.
Natalia.
Hi, everybody.
Joseph.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
Liam.
Hello in German.
Ben.
Hello.
And Sohail.
What's happening, everyone?
We are very happy to be with you all again after our short break. So why don't we just jump into our first topic? Because if you haven't been watching, go back and we did a WandaVision review of the finale and also of the entire show. Some of our panel members did a Raya and the Last Dragon review to check out. We were reacting to the Golden Globes. We'll be reacting to the Academy Award nominations coming up soon. So we're doing a lot more than just in this single episode. So make sure to follow us on the social media and on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to be up to date with all the new stuff for the council. So let's get into our first discussion of the day. In honor of WandaVision's finale, which is one of the big comic book things to happen in a while due to the pandemic, we thought it would be a nice conversation to shine a light on some of our favorite underrated comic book stories in film and television. And I'm sure some of us will disagree with some of our opinions, but that's what makes it fun. So why don't we throw it to Jack first? Get us started with one of our new council members.
Okie doke. Well, mine is it's a little controversial. I think like half of people like it. Man of Steel. It's my third favorite comic book movie. I know Ben probably likes it because it's a Snyder film, but yeah, it's pretty controversial. I don't know. I really like it. I don't think it's too dark to be Superman like some people do. I think all of the action in the end is justified. And I think he should have killed General Zod. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
That was real dark.
It's a dark place to start.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Man of Steel, so that I agree with that pick. Let's go to Constance. Let's get our other new council member. What's your controversial, maybe underrated comic book movie or television show?
I don't know if it's controversial because every group of people is different. Like you can go to this group and they all love it, and then you go to this other group and they're like, "You like that?" So it's so hard for me because it's a surprise. Actually, I'm gonna go with Shazam, and my key reason is that's a character I don't like. I've never cared. So when they announced the movie and I saw the trailers, I was like, I don't care. But I finally watched it. I was like, I should watch it because what if there's a link? What if there's something important? And I was pleasantly surprised. So I think here's a character that maybe doesn't get the same je ne sais quoi that like Flash or Cyborg or Green Lantern, that are not the holy trio get. And maybe he deserves a little bit more. So that's what I think.
Wonderful pick. I mean, it definitely didn't make as much money at the box office as people probably would have wanted. So it's probably one a couple people did miss. So it's definitely one to check out. Let's go to, I don't know, will he pick a Snyder project? We'll see. Mr. Ben, what are you picking?
Hi. So I'm going to be picking a really phenomenal movie that not enough people care about, and that's V for Vendetta. The absolutely phenomenal movie.
On that movie.
It's amazing, and it tells a warning of what fascism can do to a society that I think comes blatantly more true every single day. And it's a terrifying but brilliant movie that I think not enough people do. So cheers to that.
Wonderful.
I was
Great,
all
great
shocked
pick.
at first there, and I was like, "Oh my God, Ben didn't pick a Snyderverse film." But then he started talking, and I went, "Oh,
Socialist.
yeah, socialist. Yeah, okay, go on."
You know what, Liam? Why don't you take it? What's your underrated pick?
Well, I think mine will come as no surprise to anyone, but mine is Josie and the Pussycats.
I
I
expected nothing
mean,
less.
exactly. If Spice World the movie had been a comic book, that would have been it, but it's not. So we're going with the next best thing, which is Josie and the Pussycat Dolls. Everyone needs to watch it. It is a cult classic for a reason. Tara Reid, back when she didn't have wonky boobs. Who's the other people? Um, Rosario Dawson, back before she was controversial. Pissy Miles or Miles Pissy or whatever she's called. What Missy Pyle. There, got it. Alan Cummings, Parker Posey. That is a cast. And the film's awful. It's garbage, but I still love it. And I don't care. There we go. That's mine. Enjoy it, people.
Wonderful. So make sure to check out Pissy Miles' next film when you get a chance. And with that,
Oh, I know why I called her that. It's because that's a drag queen.
there
Inspired
you
by
go.
Missy Pyle. Okay.
Not surprised you made that link. Moving on, why don't we, one of our Marvelites on the crew, Mr. Yousef, what's your pick for an underrated? Will it be a Marvel film? I'm interested.
And yeah, you'll be correct with that. So my underrated movie has the original name by Shazam. It's Captain Marvel. I like this film. I don't know. I understand why it gets the hate. But I don't love it, but I like it enough to give it a good review. I mean, Brie Larson, I love her as Captain Marvel. I liked Ben Mendelsohn, Sam Jackson, Nick Fury. Who doesn't love Nick Fury? And of course, you have
Wonderful.
Goose the Cat.
Goose the Cat, yes. I'm a fan
Can
of
I
that
just
movie.
put in there for a
Yeah,
second?
go Ben.
No, I forgot to talk about two TV shows, Harley Quinn and Doom Patrol. Phenomenal. Two of the best shows I've ever seen.
Very good.
They're
Very
pretty
good
And you're wrong,
shows.
Joseph. You're wrong.
fun.
Well, Joseph, I love Captain Marvel comics, so I definitely love the Captain Marvel movie. All three of those, you should definitely go check out those two DC shows. They're very, very good. Let's go to Natalia. In 1 second. Natalia is
You're on
muted.
mute.
This is very
Hi.
common.
Hi. Yes.
You're here. This is like a running
Cool.
gag now.
Sweet.
Every episode.
Mine is Young Justice. I love this show so much. I hyperfixated the hell out of this show when it first came out. I love it. It's got a great cast. It's got a freaking huge cast, but they all end up giving everyone their due, give or take. Animation's great. Love the powers. Zatanna. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. All right, let's throw it to Sohail.
You know, Constance made a really good point, and I'm gonna go in the same vein of her argument there, where some groups like it and some don't, and I'm gonna change my my original answer to Birds of Prey, the movie, because I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna give it some support. Yes, Ben. Yes, and I know people hate it, people dislike it, but people do like it and do love it, and I'm in between those two groups. So there we go.
For a longer discussion of this, please check out our first ever episode where we went 30 minutes into Birds of Prey. But does anybody have any short comments about the movie? Because I think some people
Yes.
might.
Don't open the
Thoughts?
floor, Anthony. It's going to be a
I have
bloodbath
to.
again.
It's Birds of Prey. If I don't open the floor, then who are we? We're the council. We have to talk about Birds of Prey.
It's a really
Ben,
solid
Trash.
movie.
Trash.
And Harley voted
Trash.
for Bernie, guys.
Says
I
you,
said it
Liam.
in the movie. We have no choice but to love the woman, you know?
Trash.
Go, Liam.
I think Liam's just going to say trash, so we're going to move on to the next topic, me being Yousef's pick. Yousef, what do you got?
So I was gonna go with Iron Man 2, and then I remembered that no Marvel movie is underrated because of their army. But I'm gonna go with a TV show, and that one is Batwoman. I wonder why. No, I didn't watch season 1, and I haven't watched season 1 because I don't like Ruby Rose. And I started watching season 2 only because I worked on it and I thought it would be fun to like see how it turned out. But now I think they're like 5 episodes in and I'm legitimately invested in the show. I think they have gotten better with their writing. They have storylines, like how they integrated Ryan Wilder, the new character, I think worked. And the new commentary that they have with her, the social things that they're adding to the show, I think work a lot. I think the villains are fun. Sure, the acting could be better. Sure, the cinematography could be better, but it's a CW show, and I think it's getting a lot of unwarranted hate because I don't know why. Maybe it's a CW show. Maybe it's like they check all the boxes. And like, if we really think about it, they're giving us a Black gay woman hero, and like it's taken so long to get one of those. So for a show to give us all 3 as a lead with the Bat brand, I think is something to reward them for. So I do think it's a show that you should watch. And it's only like 40 minutes an episode. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think you took it. It was a great example that even if you weren't being paid by them, it's a fair argument. That leaves me, and I'll go into my quick thoughts, and then we can open it up.
Antony, just before you start,
Yeah.
Yousef, you just need to wipe the brown stuff off your nose.
Liam, I think you need to
Shut
make
up.
your joke a little bit clearer.
No, I got it. I just had a chip in my mouth. Let the record show I've also worked on Superman and Lois and The Flash, and I don't give 2 shits about those shows. So Batwoman
Superman
say
and
Yousef
Lois
or
is
Joseph?
very good. It's really
I
good.
love Superman and Lois.
Didn't
I
they
couldn't
just
be
Amazing.
go
bothered.
on a super hiatus? Aren't they going to be gone
Yeah.
for a while?
Yeah, because they had to. That's why I joined the show, because they had like 2 weeks off for COVID, and they were like super frantic. So they'll be back eventually, but they're just really behind. Batwoman would never.
So I'll just say my underrated comic book show. I think Agent Carter. It ran for 2 seasons. I really love that show. It was created by Marcus and McFeely, who wrote all the Captain America movies and the last 2 Avengers movies. So it's a really fun show, especially if you love the character and you love that type of era of just that era, but especially if you throw in like the superhero antics. As for a movie, I am picking a Marvel movie, but not an MCU movie, and this may be controversial, but I'm going with Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. I really think there's a lot to this movie that people don't give it the credit for. I think the Sandman transformation is really well done. I think that it has a lot of cool action, some of the best action in the franchise. I think, especially after seeing the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man duology, I think Spider-Man 3 is at least fun and it's tongue-in-cheek. I know Ben disagrees with that, but I think, it's fun. I feel like if I was reading a comic book from the 60s, which is what that Raimi trilogy was very much inspired by, was that original run with Lee and Ditko, that seems like the way they would show me Spider-Man and Peter Parker being like evil and like dweeby. He would be that way. So it worked for me. Again, that's not a choice that others have agreed with, but I enjoy the film, and I'm a sucker for any superhero movie that ends with the 2 characters dancing to classic music at the end, which this one does. And I think this movie captured the MJ Peter relationship very well, and I enjoyed the film. I am just a big fan of the trilogy, and I like this movie. I don't think it's perfect, but I definitely think people give it too much hate. I think people consider this one of the worst comic book movies of all time, and I don't think it's on the level with like Catwoman or like Daredevil. I don't agree. So that's my underrated comic book movie.
Anthony, I have 2 things to say to you. One, It is probably my top 3 worst ever. 2, look at what Liam is doing. Liam, put that back up. Look at what Liam's doing. 3, you could not have picked a worse underrated Marvel movie to go with. You could have gone with X-Men Apocalypse, which is a great movie.
Oh.
Could have gone with The Wolverine, which is another great movie that people don't look at. That's a really underrated movie, in my opinion. You've got, like, I even enjoy, I suppose if we're picking terrible movies, Anthony, I enjoy Elektra. You know?
Right. You're not
It's gonna pick
helping
Wolverine.
his point by using them films as references.
They're all
You-
better than Spider-Man 3.
They are not better than Spider-Man 3.
They are
And
better than
that is
Spider-Man
making
3.
it worse. And Natalia, before you have a fit, go on.
Okay, 2 things. 1, Yousef, in the edit, when Antony was talking about Spider-Man 3, that movie has like gone away from my brain and I didn't know which one it was. And then he said Sandman, and I was like, that's why I did that. Not because I agree with him. I don't.
Taste.
2, sorry, darling. 2, asterisks on my point, because I know people know me as the Daredevil bitch, and I still am. But the reason that I didn't pick it is because I don't think that it's an underrated project.
I wouldn't say
Television show.
I wouldn't
Talk
say
about the Ben
Daredevil
Affleck
was
movie?
underrated.
I wouldn't. I know, but like maybe there are some people who are like, why didn't you call out Daredevil? It's not underrated.
Underseen.
It's extremely popular.
No,
what
it was
I
very,
think
very
is
still
popular.
actually
going
underrated.
strong.
I think people forgot about how good Jessica Jones was. People kind of seem
Jessica
to forget about that
Yeah.
show, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I also think Iron Fist season 2 is really great.
Iron Fist season 2, the potential right there, right at the end
Oh,
was
sad.
But back to Anthony's garbage.
yes.
Yeah.
So I will give you Hayden Christian Church.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah.
Hayden
so-
Christensen did not like sand. He found it coarse and rough and irritating.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know all these weird names. I will. He was a very good Sandman, and his transformation was very good. However, having a minute performance in the middle of a garbage fire doesn't make it underrated. It makes a good performance stand out against the steaming pile of shit that's just smacking off it. But no.
I agree.
There was too
No.
much in that film to actually comprehend what was going on.
Exactly.
And that was actually not the director's fault. It was the studio who told him to do all these mash up together and let's end it on a trilogy. So
It also has
Uh-uh.
terrible CGI, horrible
Uh-uh.
visual
Yeah, it
effects.
was.
It's a very ugly looking movie.
Uh,
The studio
I'm
did
not
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
defending.
2007.
The studio had nothing to do with Dancy Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire.
No.
I agree.
I'm not defending the
That
movie.
was all Sam Raimi, and
I'm
he
saying
needs
the
to
overall
take.
story. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fine. They wanted to squeeze Venom in there in case it got stopped at a trilogy. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But everything else is Sam Raimi's fault.
I don't know. Ben brought up the CGI. Where today it is a little dated. I think back then in 2007, like the movie's almost 15 years old. I think it looked fine. It
Anthony,
definitely.
Anthony, am I watching the movie 15 years ago, or am I watching it today?
Well, you're watching it today.
Well,
but
you're watching
my-
it a day, Ben. However, give him a break. Like
yeah, the movie's the CGI is fine for 2007. I also think the other thing I think why it's underrated is because I don't think it's that much. And again, this is my opinion. When I watched the 3 of them back to back of Raimi, it doesn't seem that like I feel like a lot of the things that people get mad at it for, like the tone and the silly thing, it's like that's in 1 and 2. Where yes, it might be more prevalent in 3. I think. Personally, I feel like Spider-Man 3 was the first example of a big blockbuster disappointing people, and because of that, people got so upset with it. Because before then, you didn't have this big type of movie that people flocked to the way that we have so many of them nowadays, both on TV and movies. So I feel like people
WandaVision.
were a little bit.
you're still
You
not
wanna bring
talking
that-
yourself out of this.
You know what? I
Hey, I'm
actually
not-
do agree with you. I do agree with you, Anthony. I
Oh,
I
of
don't think
course
it's
you
that
do.
bad. It's not that bad.
Marvel Bros.
Listen, I love Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite characters.
I'm
He is
not,
mine-
a
he's
Spi-
mine
I'm not
too.
a Sam Raimi Spider-Man person, so I don't even know why I'm arguing with you. I really don't care. I just don't like the movies.
Yeah, I think. Listen,
Yeah,
I think it's
back
also
to
like
the action
I am.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the action scenes. Yeah, I agree. It's just that it's not. There's no scene as memorable as the train scene in Spider-Man 2 or the Mysterio illusions from Far From
Yeah.
Home.
but like for me, I like this, like the scene with the hobgoblin. I think it's the hobgoblin or the new goblin when
Goblin.
he's fighting James Franco. And it's not just a fight; he's also trying to make sure the ring is safe. Like that's such a quintessential Spider-Man thing, where he's not focused on the fight; he's focused on saving like the ring he's going to give to his girlfriend. Like little things like that. I'm like, that's Spider-Man, and I like that. But listen, I wouldn't have brought it up if it.
But it was still
worth
played
talking.
by the aging Tobey Maguire,
It's
Who's a bad
listen,
Spider-Man?
who was an awful
I
Spider-Man.
love Andrew Garfield, but he was way too old to play Peter Parker. Tom Holland was
Great
the
memes
first age
though.
appropriate.
I mean, the memes that came out of that movie, I mean, they were iconic. So, hey, memes can revive a movie and give
Also-
a positive view on the character or an actor.
Leah,
No.
not to, you brought up Josie and the Pussycat, so I don't know if you're the best person to bring up like quality.
Whoa! You do not go for the no. Right.
You said it yourself.
My film has a cult following. What does your film have? Now.
Well, if people didn't like Tobey Maguire, then we wouldn't be getting Spider-Man No Way Home.
The universe is
They're
telling
doing
me
it
that
for
I should.
Andrew Garfield, not Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Andrew Garfield
they
is
would-
the king. He's the king, Antony.
No.
Opinion. I can introduce you to a lot
No
of people
more.
who are going to like the movie because believe me, people want to see Tobey Maguire again. It's
I
maybe
don't.
not in this
Liam,
room.
do you? Liam, do you want to see Tobey
No.
Maguire?
Spot
Yeah.
poll who wants to see Tobey Maguire. See,
Hands
look,
up.
no one.
Hands up.
No one. Joseph.
Joseph doesn't count.
Shh,
He doesn't count.
stop it. Play with the dog.
Natalia.
The universe is telling me that I should rewatch Young Justice because it just appeared on my Tumblr. Okay, let's move on.
Yes,
Okay.
Natalia, I agree. That was a spirited discussion. And yeah, I feel like we should make shirts that just have like me in the middle and then Ben and Liam just like yelling. So I feel like that would be a fun shirt.
Excuse me,
I was
Yousef
gonna
as
put us in the
well.
middle.
Don't bring me
Um,
into this. I'll yell about WandaVision, but I won't yell about this.
Oh hey, thanks for watching. And remember, full episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts.
With new episodes Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, links in the description box.
And be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to stay caught up to date with The Council.
Boys, I'm excited.